Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. It's Friday, it's happy hour, and Joe Germanotta is here. He not only is sober, and we're making a mocktail, he is also the owner of Joanne Trattoria, which is kind of on the Upper West Side, Hell's Kitchen.
No, it's on the Upper West Side.
Okay. I've been there. It's fantastic. Do you know what I love about it, Joe? You guys have lots of gluten-free options for celiacs.
Yes.
Yay! And you were so accommodating, and when I went in, your bartender had never made the romantic drink that I requested, and she looked it up and made it for me, and it was fantastic.
I wish I knew which one it was. I'll have to find out.
Yeah, it was, but it was amazing. So, welcome to Kennedy Saves the World.
Thank you.
So you quit drinking 4 years ago.
5 now.
5 years ago. Congratulations. And you have gotten into the spiritless, alcohol-free spirits journey, which has taken us to this lovely gin and I got to get the
espresso.
So this is the espresso martini non-alcoholic pour and shake cocktail from Spiritless, mixed with some new London Light alcohol-free gin, which I'm very excited to try, and topping it off with Zero Reed's Real Ginger Ale. And I love Reed's because it really does give you a kick in the arse.
Yeah. Well, and I don't represent any of these companies.
No, this is
Okay.
this is not
not
Papa
a
Joe's
sales
Go-Go
pitch.
Juice.
There you go.
Cheers
Happy
to you,
hour.
Joe. Happy hour. That is so good.
Isn't it good?
The coffee and the espresso martini is great.
And you know, I got to tell you,
It's like its own thing. Like it's not replacing alcohol, but it is definitely its own thing.
You know what? I have like a slew of bottles at home. When I'm, if I want something to drink instead of drinking soda, you can mix a mocktail
that's
with
nice.
this stuff, and
Yeah.
you can make many different beverage. I mean, I can make something that tastes like a martini.
Yeah, really.
A dry
What do you make it
martini.
with? With gin or is
You
there?
can make it with the gin, or you can use the vodka, and you use the.
What brand of vodka do you like? Of this spirit?
I use NLO,
Yeah.
New London Light, but you put in olive brine,
Oh,
the green
nice.
olive brine,
Oh yeah.
and then you mix, and it tastes like a martini.
I saw a martini recently made with alcohol, but with pickle juice.
Yeah.
That has become pickle juice has become a very popular thing for people for fitness and
Right.
wellness. And so someone's like, well, I like pickles. Maybe I'll throw a few into my martini.
We used to give them to the kids when they were teething.
Oh, yeah, because
Huh?
does it somehow soothe?
Yeah, well, and they can
Gums?
chew on it,
Yeah.
and they don't have teeth, right? And it's salty, so it makes it feel good.
That's really funny. So Kat Timpf recently had a baby who's just starting to think about teething. So I'm going to tell her that. And you're also Lady Gaga's dad.
Yeah, that too.
Is that weird?
It can be.
Yeah.
I always, every once in a while, I think to myself, how the hell did this happen to me?
Yeah.
Right? That, I don't want to brag, but she's like the biggest superstar in the world.
But unbelievable.
When I saw Rio,
Yeah.
there was 1.5 million people there.
Wow. Really? Was that the biggest show you had seen?
It was on the beach. I didn't go. I watched it. I had to get up at like 3 in the morning to watch it because it was on YouTube. But sometimes I like I said, I pinch myself. Like, how the hell did this happen to me?
Did you know from an early age that she was going to be famous? Was she?
I did.
Obviously talented and obviously very hardworking.
She's determined.
Yeah.
That's how I would. The adjective I would use. I mean,
That's really fun as a parent.
there's nothing holding her, and no matter what, whether it was positive or negative, she was determined.
Yeah.
Right. To do it her way. But did I know when she was very young? She was extremely talented at an early age with the piano, right? And then not singing too much until high school.
Interesting. Was she like a theater kid?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
She did them all. They still talk about when she played Adelaide in Guys and Dolls.
Oh my gosh, I was in Guys and Dolls in high school. I love it so much.
That's a good
Was
show.
she a junior or senior?
I think she was a junior when she did it. She
That's
might even be a sophomore.
Yeah.
She was they plucked her right away.
Yeah.
Right. For the St. Regis High School.
Yeah.
Right. Are you a city girl?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. My girls are both being raised in the city. Were you in the city? Were you guys in the city?
Raising the kids? Oh yeah.
How was that?
It's the hardest part was the transportation. Mm-hmm. Right, because they went to Sacred Heart and we were on the west side.
Oh yeah.
So they're Upper East Side and West Side. And I had to stand out there with the damn bus waiting for the yellow bus.
That was always my worry, was that my kids were going to go to high schools like in another borough.
Right.
And I would just worry about them. Like, I want them to know how to get around. I want them to be independent. But in the city, especially, like right now, it's a little bit better.
Right.
But, during COVID
How old are they?
16 and 19.
Oh, well. So they were here with a lot of turmoil.
Yeah. Yeah, they were here like we were in the middle of the George Floyd riots. Like they were rioting down Amsterdam. It's like, oh, there they are.
Well, it got rough in our neighborhood for a while with the migrants.
Yeah.
Because we had a migrant shelter.
I mean, every time, all over the Upper West Side, there were migrant shelters everywhere. So, we walked down past the Watson Hotel and it looked like the funnest place in the world.
Right.
Because they're like making food and everyone's got scooters and bikes and kids running around.
Right.
I'm like, why the hell wouldn't you want to come here?
The worst part was the scooters.
Yeah.
There was like thousands of them on the street.
Yes.
I don't know what they did with all of them.
It looked like a showroom.
Wonder if they took them with them. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's how I knew that they had dismantled the hotels, because I would walk by the Watson and be like, well, scooters are gone.
Right.
Yes.
Well, now, thank God it's back. That shelter is back to being AMDA.
Yeah.
The dormitory.
Yes.
For
Performing arts
those
school.
kids are great.
I love, those kids, they show up to New York with so much talent and so much optimism. My best friend's daughter went there, and she loved it. She couldn't afford to live in the city after school, so she ended up leaving.
Oh.
At what point did your daughter, did you know, oh my gosh, this is really going to work?
When she got her first, well, I would say when she started really, really getting, I could see she was really good, like when she performed at the Bitter End,
Mm-hmm.
some of the later performances, and the Knitting Factory,
Yeah.
and when she was, when she was hitting her stride then, because, and she taught me, right, because now these kids that come in for the Emerging Artist Show,
Yeah.
she taught me what she would do is she would always play the proper size venue.
Yeah.
So
Never too big.
Never too big, so that there were always people.
That's really smart. And people's egos oftentimes get ahead of them.
And
they want to play a bigger room.
Right.
And then it looks like you're a failure. But if you're in a much smaller room and people are just dying to get in,
that's the best thing.
Yes.
Right? You got 4 or 5 waiting outside to get in.
Wow, good for her. I mean, that's some foresight, because not everyone
She
does that.
She taught me that. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Not that she was smart enough, but I couldn't believe that, that the story.
Yeah.
I mean, she used to promote herself.
Yes. I think you have to. Isn't that interesting? Because, her era, they were probably the first ones who really were able to use social media to completely market themselves from the very beginning of their careers.
Yes. Yes. And that's, I see a lot of emerging artists now every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their hardest part, is because record labels, they don't want to develop artists anymore.
No.
They don't have the money.
Yeah, and the margins aren't there like they used to be.
No. And, to find a manager that wants to put the time in for a developing artist is tough.
Yeah.
Right? Agents, they're good, or you're better off promoting yourself. But what I tell them is, what you need to do if you want to get noticed is you have to perform.
Yes.
So, come here, go to those other places like
Nashville.
the Mercury Lounge and all that.
Yeah.
Those places like that. Try to get in a triad. And I got to tell you, some of them are extremely talented.
Yeah. I remember being in LA in the early 90s, and all the metal bands, they had to pay to play. So they had to buy tickets for their own shows and then sell them to people. So you'd see these long-haired metal and grunge artists standing outside the Whiskey and all up and down Sunset Boulevard, trying desperately to get people to go to their shows. Because if you could get people to your shows, you would get booked elsewhere.
And that's what I tell when the emerging artists, they apply
Yeah.
to be on stage, and we require them to bring 6 people.
Yeah.
And because I said, if you can't find 6 of your friends that'll come listen to you,
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So,
But that's always so much fun. Like being on the ground floor of something that may turn into
Yeah.
the next big thing.
yeah, we found, so far I found 3.
Who?
Well, one of them's performing this weekend, actually tomorrow night, Jamie LaRose. And then another one I found is Janine. I forget her last name. She goes by Janine. And then we just recently found Chloe Jane.
Amazing.
You should, I mean, I got to tell you, you want to see some great stuff? This
Yeah.
kid's doing it all herself.
Wow.
You know, the videos, they're first class. She's working with all her friends at NYU.
That's awesome.
You know,
Do you think that's the best music program in the city? I mean, there are a lot.
Tisch?
I guess there's
There's a
like
lot.
Tisch, New School.
Yeah. I mean, am I biased? Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why she went to Tisch.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about the others, to be honest
Yeah.
with
Hey, it's Kennedy. You've been asking for longer episodes of Kennedy Saves the World, and baby, now you're gonna get it, because we recorded our live 4th of July special at Langan's in New York City, featuring special guests, Fox 5 New York's Rosanna Scotto, Dr. Drew Pinsky, Emily Compagno, and Jimmy Fela. The full episode will be available Wednesday, July 2nd. Listen and follow at foxnewspodcast.com. Do you worry in different ways now that she's as big as she is?
Yes. Yes. You know, there's, I mean, there's always somebody, you know, reaching out for her.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether it's a good hand or a bad hand.
Yeah. Or someone who genuinely knows her.
Right.
Someone who's genuinely connected.
Right.
Or, you know, it's like these people who are unwell, they're, you know, underserviced. We don't have enough mental health care professionals in this country
Right.
for all the people who need it, for all the people who are still struggling after the pandemic, who, you know, it's like, I know in public high schools, like they don't have enough practitioners to come in and help the kids who desperately need therapy. So
Right.
you imagine that, and you imagine it's even harder in bigger cities where, you know, people are just undiagnosed. And
But then on the flip side, I think in the back of my head, you know, all her fans love her.
yes.
Right? She's got a lot of people that love her. And, you know, so chances are she's going to be
Who
okay.
loves who more? Her monsters, her little monsters, or Swifties loving Taylor Swift?
Oh, God. I don't, you know, that's a tough call because they're both, I mean, we did a Taylor Swift tribute
Yeah.
at the restaurant.
Yeah,
And all these kids came in, they were all Swifties.
that's funny.
And, you know, the
they
place
know
was
that-
packed, huh?
They know that Papa Joe is the guy, is the gateway.
Well, to Taylor Swift, no.
No,
I met
to-
her once,
yeah.
but no.
You did? Was she
Yeah.
nice?
Yeah, they were all nice.
Yeah.
They were all pleasant people. That particular show, that was the youngest crowd we ever had.
Oh, yeah.
And their mothers were bringing them to the show.
Yeah.
So that tells you they're Swifties.
Yeah, that's how you know.
That's how you know. Then when your parents are bringing you to the show,
Yeah.
you're a Swiftie.
I think about it, though. A bunch of determined 12-year-olds made her a billionaire.
Yeah.
That's wild, man.
She made so much money on
I
that
know.
tour. Wow.
I know, but then I look at Katy Perry and I feel bad for her. Like, and I'm sure her tour is doing great. She hasn't been out in years.
Right.
She's on an international tour. But now any female artist who goes out and doesn't earn $1 billion is now compared to Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah. Yeah. She set the bar.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that the components were all ticket sales.
Yeah.
Because she handled her own merch
Oh,
and
it's the
stuff.
merch.
She was,
for sure.
and there's a lot of money
and she's
in merch.
so brilliant at branding the
Right.
things that people who love her love to hold on to.
Right.
That is part of their community.
That's what this impersonator. She was really good. She had
Oh,
the
really?
costume. Oh yeah, she had the costumes. She had the voice down. She had the guitar. Everything. And that's what we're doing. I'm bringing in impersonators from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Right.
To Joanne?
to Joanne. The next one actually, he's from Long Island, but so was Billy Joel. It's a Billy Joel tribute.
People are now desperate to see Billy Joel.
We've done at Elton John. We've done. That was just the last one. We did a Taylor Swift. We did an Amy Winehouse. We did a Lady Gaga.
You did?
Oh yeah. That was actually the first one we did. That was a Tierney.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
How did your daughter feel about that?
Actually, she said, "I'm really proud of you, Dad."
Oh, that's great.
Look, I turned the restaurant into a music venue.
Yeah.
Right, an entertainment venue.
That also has delicious food.
Right.
And really nice bartenders who will make you whatever you want.
Now, for the price of a meal, right, you get a meal and a show.
Yeah.
Right? And said, I came up with
and
the
it's not
idea
in Times
after
Square.
COVID.
How great is that?
Well, yeah, that's a big benefit. But actually, I like to put one in Times Square now.
Really?
Yeah. Well, now that we have the proving ground.
Yes.
Of the entertainment, because we're doing shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We were doing Sunday. I just stopped doing Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And I could probably fill the place every night with tourists.
That's
in
awesome.
Times Square.
Yeah.
Right. And the drag show gets probably the most pull.
Yeah.
And then actually the emerging artist show is now.
I think that's the coolest thing. I really do.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I MC it.
That's awesome.
I MC the show.
Yeah.
And what I try to do is I tell the kids, like, look, you have to have, the look, the stage presence, the voice, or the talent, right? And so what I do is I assess them, based upon the conversation that we have, how they handle themselves in front of the audience. Like, what do you do? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some of them freeze.
Yeah. How do you connect with people?
You got to make the connection.
Because
I tell my waiters that too.
Yeah. It's true. Because there are people there are a certain generation of younger people who have a hard time making eye contact because they've been in their phones. Like, if you go into a room of teenagers, they're all on their phones talking to each other.
Right.
So it's like, yes, bringing that out of people. And then, I just sitting here thinking about it, the thing on stage, like that switch is either in you or it's not.
Right. I got to tell you, I would see that in Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
Because when he was, aging, right? He was pretty quiet and focused, right? And, he didn't talk too much, right? But then he would get on stage and his eyes would light up.
Wow.
Right? And then he was Tony.
That's amazing.
It was really pretty amazing
that's a gift from God.
Well, I guess, till the early days before he died, he used to still sit on the couch and sing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What a good dude.
He was really.
I met him a
nice
couple times.
man.
He was lovely.
He was like a grandfather to my daughter.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And to get to perform with someone like that.
I got to tell you, I'll never forget. She was in her dressing room, right? And her son and his son, Danny, came and, he said, like, Tony Bennett would like to meet your daughter. And so somebody went in and told her, and then she asked me to come in. And she said, she's kind of like, who's Tony Bennett? Not really, not that, but, I said to her, look, honey, if Tony Bennett wants to meet with you, you meet with him.
Yeah.
The guy's a legend.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
and that's where it all started.
Ah, that voice, though.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, continued success with Joanne Trattoria. People should go there, have dinner, see the shows, see the emerging artists. The next Lady Gaga could be at the microphone any given week.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And hopefully we'll see you on Gutfeld soon as well.
Oh. I'm a little nervous about that one, but
You'll
okay.
be great. This is a wonderful warm-up. We
right.
have our spiritless espresso martinis with a little bit of ginger ale on top. This was a great drink. This is Papa Joe's Go-Go juice.
That's my go-go juice.
That's right.
When I say bring me a drink in the restaurant, the kids know that's the one.
That's amazing.
Right?
All right. Well, it's so nice to meet you and talk to you. Continued success with the restaurant, the Times Square restaurant, which is going to be massive, the drag queens,
Okay.
the Taylor Swifts, and your whole family.
And you're fabulous.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I love talking music. This is great. All right. This has been Kennedy Saves the World along with Joe Germanotta. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.